Tom Brady has had an exceptional NFL career, but no amount of money and Super Bowl rings can stop anyone from doing embarrassing things, though. So, here are some of his embarrassing moments that he'd most probably like NFL fans to forget. Since we all see him as the star he is today, we forget that he was once a young lad just trying to make it into the NFL. That's why I'm here to remind you about the one thing even Brady's tried to delete off the internet. Yes, ladies and gents, we're talking about the Combine picture. Brady has now become one of the most influential players in NFL history, and it's mind-blowing for fans to look back at this one. Many of them have been dumbfounded to see how he used to look when he was drafted in the 6th round. One certain picture ahead of that draft has become a comedic reference point for NFL fans. Well, it's not so much the picture as his physique at the time, given how slight the NFL's future greatest quarterback looked. The picture portrayed a young, tall, and frail Tom Brady in long boxer shorts, lacking any sort of muscle definition. Knowing how physically demanding the sport is, this is a huge surprise for football fans, and many can't even accept that the legend looked like that when he was drafted. It's easy to laugh at now, but Brady still can't find the comedic value in it. He would rather people forget about it than just accept it. He went as far as to ask Elon Musk to have the picture taken down before he bought Twitter. Like, damn, do you really hate it that much? And this next one, it even cost them a game. Yes, this is the Tuck Rule game. When an old NFL rule came back to haunt Brady's existence. Many fans go as far as saying that the New England Patriots dynasty and Tom Brady's legacy could not have been built had the rules been followed correctly. This is true, but it's also not because it's a game. Do you really mean to say that the refs bend the rules to favor Brady? If yes, you're a hater because you can't attribute that much success to cheating, man. Anyway, there's no doubt that the incident involving the Tuck Rule in the Oakland Raiders game had a huge impact on the NFL that year. Sort of went down like this. After a heavy snowstorm had left conditions on the field far from ideal, Brady was under pressure. With 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock, he was sacked by Raiders defender Charles Woodson. While it was ruled on the field, the review told a different story. A rule introduced in 1999 was brought into play after reviewing the call. According to the footage, Brady was considered to be throwing a pass rather than tucking the ball into his body. The Tuck Rule gave the ball back to New England. The Patriots went on to win the game and kickstart a dynasty. I understand that it's easy to hate on one of the biggest players in the world, but how can we forget one of the worst nights Tom Terrific has had? This is the Bucs vs. Saints game from 2021. As we all know, Brady managed to win a Super Bowl while he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. By winning a championship away from Bill Belichick and the Pats, he was able to prove that he was one of the best and have that be his legacy. However, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows for him in Tampa. There's always going to be that one match against the New Orleans Saints that will follow him everywhere he goes. That night was considered one of his worst performances as a pro quarterback and still lives on in the minds of Brady fans. For the first time in 15 years, the former Patriots star remains scoreless, and that's not all. His night ended in a 9-0 defeat for the team. That night, the Bucs frontman had his pass completion percentage drop down to just 54% and ended up throwing an interception that gave the ball up. It was definitely one of the worst days of his career, and his frustration was caught on film. The man threw a coach's Microsoft tablet to the ground. Another performance the all-time great would rather forget would have to be the Super Bowl 42 game. Only one game away from joining the Invincible Club with the 1972 Miami Dolphins, the 2007 New England Patriots looked like they were already there. They conquered the NFL with a 16-0 record in the regular season and fought hard all the way through to Super Bowl 42. It was just the New York Giants that stood in their way. I think it's important to mention that the 2007 Giants had a 10-6 record, which is not too bad, but it wasn't a team that could have upset the Patriots. In the final minute of the fourth quarter, New England was out a 14-10 lead, and with a team like that, the cat's already in the bag at that point, right? That's what I thought. And high key, I wish I hadn't. It's honestly hard to believe that they got the shorter end of the stick because of David Tyree's insane catch that turned the momentum over in favor of the Giants. Why this makes it to the list is because Brady's performance of just one touchdown and 29 of 48 passes completed was just unimpressive. He said he regretted not being able to carry the team and being able to stop an embarrassing defeat, which cost them their shot at immortality. So that's definitely something he'd like fans to forget. But this last one is something that's always going to be held over his head, even though he had nothing to do with it. This is what will remain the biggest scandal that Brady will always be associated with: Deflategate.
Deflategate. Deflategate.
Deflategate. Deflategate.
Deflategate was a weird crossfire that Brady got caught in between that will definitely haunt him for the rest of his days.
I didn't alter the ball in any way.
Even though it didn't impact the direction of the conference championship match against the Indianapolis Colts, this is something that he'll always wish NFL fans would just forget. The quarterback had to give multiple statements in interviews denouncing his involvement in the deflation of footballs at games. The vet was forced to serve a suspension after being found guilty of not cooperating in the investigation and withholding information about his organization being involved in deflating footballs. In his appeal to the NFL regarding his suspension, Brady had to go to war against the association, which sadly yielded no positive results. And as with every high-profile case, especially when you're Tom Brady level big, come the absolutely ridiculous stories. Can you believe people made things up like him having to get a new phone after the ordeal and things of that nature? And don't get me wrong, it was a huge deal. It played out for a while, which called his sporting ethics into question, which I'm sure that people used to discredit him to date. It left a bitter taste in a lot of mouths, considering the New England Patriots were also involved in a signal taping scandal. All of this proved to be quite damaging for Brady, considering he was just doing his job. And it'll definitely go down as the top thing he'd like football fans to just forget. And that was the list of some of the top embarrassing moments that Tom Brady would rather have football fans forget. See you in the next video.